Okay, I've turned the recording on.
That goes up.
You're fading in and out, Rita.
Hello?
Yes?
Yes. Tom, I wanted you to know I really enjoyed whoever did the text for the conference on the 13th.
Yeah, that was me.
Well, I really enjoyed that.
It was a chore because I'm not a very good typer to begin with. And all the keys, all the letters had disappeared off my keyboard.
Well, I think you did a good job.
I didn't realize I didn't know where the keys were, that I did it all by looking. But luckily, I got a new set of keypad stickers in on Saturday morning, so I was able to stick them on. But it's pretty much
you did a good job.
It's pretty much what Patrick said, except I changed it from the conversational style to a more written style. You know, because what you're speaking, you tend to start a sentence and then back up and do it again a different way.
Yeah.
So
I appreciated it. Thank you.
Well, but we all should parcel out the work, and someone should pick up a call, the call before that, which is still an important call. And if you want, divide it up. Someone do half, someone do the other half. That way we all get to understand this. I did it because that really helped me understand the ballot. I did it for myself more than anything else.
There might be some software that'll read it right into the computer here. I know you can get software to read it to you, and I'm pretty sure you can get software.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, it's tough, but Patrick's a pretty good speaker, though. You know, he talks pretty.
Well, he is, except the software, you have to train it first. It's almost useless on conference calls. But I did give someone a webinar, a 2-hour webinar, and they were able to get Dragon Speaking working on it, and did a fairly good job. But I don't know how to get it running, and I'm rather computer literate, except I'm not that much of a user. I'm more of a program writer than I am a user.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what might work, Tom? This is Jim, by the way. Is if you upload those or turn them into a video file with just like a picture in front of it and upload them to YouTube, YouTube automatically creates a transcript on the right, which is pretty damn good. So you can listen.
No kidding.
Yeah, and it does it, yeah. So if you just upload them to YouTube, get a channel, which would be great. Put all his calls on a channel, you know.
And like, so how do you get the transcript? Because I think the transcript is better.
It creates it automatically when it's
but how do you download it? I've never seen anything on YouTube on how to download it.
Yeah, when you're watching a YouTube, if you go there to the YouTube screen and you look there, when you're playing it, you typically see on the right underneath the next to about and share and whatever. A lot of times you'll see a transcript right there.
No kidding.
Yeah, so it's right. It's right on the opposite side of where you see the like buttons. Underneath where the hit counter is, you'll see these kind of strange tabs that most people don't use, but yeah, they do the transcripts. So I mean, like I said, they're not perfect. Sometimes they're way off the wall, but by hell, it's free, and plus they're storing all your files for you too. So and they're. Yeah,
well, that's a good way to start. I
can get that started. Yeah, I'll do a couple of those. See.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll give you the username and password, whatever, so we can.
Because right now, in order to be able to do it, I have to stop it after every 6 to 10 words.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it. Well, I'll upload one to his. Tomorrow, I'll upload one and to YouTube.
Okay.
And we'll see how it turns out.
Upload the one from not this last Sunday, but the Sunday before.
Saturday. Oh, right, Sunday before. Right.
The Sunday before.
Okay. All right, I'll do that one.
Okay. Now, does everybody have the ballot out?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, well, let's go through it sentence by sentence. Any problems that you see, it's going to have to be sent certified mail, right? Because the very first thing on the upper left is the certified mail tracking number.
Yes, I see it.
Yep.
Okay, and you see it's the way it's addressed. Now, Patrick has changed how he addresses it to the judge. We're sending it now to the clerk of the your district courthouse, and we're putting. Let me get the language. Okay, here's what needs to be on the envelope. Clerk. Oh, no, you don't need the word clerk. Special service required. It's 3 lines. Special service required. Deliver to senior U.S. qualified elector judge.
Deliver to senior
U.S. qualified elector judge.
But it's delivered to the clerk. You're addressing
Mail
the clerk.
mail it to the clerk. And this also gets past the problem that in my district there is no fax for the chief judge, but all clerks have a fax. Some clerks you do have to call, and at least when I was in a bankruptcy case, the clerks would ignore anything coming in by fax unless you called them and got permission to fax something.
But we're not going to the bankruptcy court anymore. We're going to the federal district court.
No, but they have clerks there and they have fax machines and they may have the same practice.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, because I had to call here in Ohio.
Right.
Get the clerk's fax number.
Where, in Northern Ohio?
Yes.
Yeah, Oliver doesn't have a fax. They won't give it to you. I called to get his fax and they wouldn't give it to me. Okay, so the first line, special service required.
Mm-hmm.
Second line, deliver to senior U.S. qualified elector judge. Then do a blank line, and at the bottom, a sealed ballot.
Okay.
And then you said skip a line?
I would skip a line.
Okay.
To make it stand out.
Okay. All right, and put what after we skip a line?
A sealed ballot.
Okay.
So everybody got that?
A sealed ballot? What is that?
The ballot that we have, which we have sealed.
Okay.
The document we have is a ballot.
Okay. So you write a sealed ballot?
You write the words "a sealed ballot."
Okay.
You're describing what's inside.
Right. Gotcha.
I think it's good going to the clerk too. I think it shows proper respect. I think when you're trying to do a go around to the judge, I don't think it's going to get there, and I think you're going to get the clerk upset.
But it would tend to get the judge's secretary upset.
Yeah, somebody's
and
going to
the,
get
the
upset.
judge a little cranky. I don't think it's more to keep the clerk happy, but to keep the judge happy.
Yeah, absolutely. In the long run, you bet.
The clerk is the official contact, and it's her duty to get it to the judge that she was instructed by an elector.
And she's also a bar member. You know that?
Yeah.
The clerks are all bar members. I didn't know that.
And they know what's going on. I talked to a former clerk about a year ago, and I asked him if the clerks know about all this nonsense or are they just paper pushers. And he says every one of them knows it in detail.
Wow.
Because they're the ones that are cranking all these bonds back and forth. They're the ones going into the vault. These are the total criminals. And everyone you walk into the court, you say, "Oh, this is the clerk. It's just some state job." Oh no, it's a big job. They run the place. They're like clingers.
Yeah, that's where the clerk's proxy come from.
Yeah, they're like Radar O'Reilly is what they are. So that's the one you always want to, they know what's going on. I'll bet the judge don't even know what the hell these clerks are doing. I mean, it's so technical.
Oh, he knows. He knows what's going on.
Yeah, but
don't worry about that. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Any problems with the subject line?
Okay. Now, one more time. You said delivered to Senior U.S. United States Qualified Elector Judge.
Right.
Okay.
Innocent lives are in your hands. Women, children, just like acid.
Is there a new example of this posted yet, or what? What are you going by? Because it doesn't say any of this on the one I downloaded.
No, it doesn't. I just got this from Patrick about an hour ago.
Oh.
Are you going to put that on the update the old one, Tom?
Well, there may be some other updates that Patrick is going to go through.
Okay.
But Patrick's already got his in since a couple of days ago anyway, right? So he can't. He's just thinking about for us because he's already waiting on them.
No, in any court procedure, you can always send an amendment in.
Okay.
If he thinks something needs to be added, don't worry, he'll add it. Okay. Now this does bring up a subject here which is relevant to what we're doing. So I'll interrupt what we're doing here and go to email that was posted to the Yahoo group today. I don't know whether people saw it. And it was from a guy who says he posted his electoral ballot, most recent version, updated for the Chief District Judge on Friday the 13th. With a cover letter, except he had to change the items and include a copy of my clan book Life Bible entry instead of a hospital birth certificate and Colonel certificate of live birth copy. Well, he didn't need to tell us that because Patrick drilled into us yesterday, you go with what you got.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He also posted the court equity case against that and the writs of execution. In other words, what we were working on the previous week to the Secret Service, Marshals, Restitution, State Attorney, Secretaries of State, the Attorney Generals for U.S. and Hawaii on the 12th, on the previous day, to the Bankruptcy Court with a cover letter to forward to the main D.C. Bankruptcy clerk if they didn't have the authority. Modified and rewrote the private equity case to my situation, of course, and added the elector voting ballot, so he sent it in with the voting ballot. So he's mixing the two processes. Okay? That's a no-no. On the 14th, Saturday, he received a letter response back from Bankruptcy Court returning only the original cover letter and a notice of deficiency filing indicating that the document doesn't concern a case or a proceeding in this court. In other words, no jurisdiction kind of thing. As of Monday, he has not received any response back from the Chief District Judge. Well, it's not going to get to the judge if it's deficient. In the numerous times posting claims, the bankruptcy and district court here had the most difficulty with the bankruptcy clerk, going to see the bankruptcy clerk in person and by post to deliver claims, private cases, all the things Patrick was developing up to this point. They usually return docs with a deficiency notice each time, or read a call, or receive a call the very next day if weekdays for clarifications. This is probably because I'm missing something important. Well, with every deficiency notice, they usually state one of the rules as to what's deficient. And I'm wondering whether he even looked at that. Now, my bankruptcy clerk judge was more tolerant. If I called them, they would explain that to me. And in fact, the first time I went down there, she went over to the computer outside her office, and it took me over there, showed me a case, and printed out for me a document that person sent in to cure the deficiency. So it depends on what your people are like. I hear that the bankruptcy court clerks and Cincinnati are total jerks. So it depends on where you are. Okay. In retrospect, the conclusion seems clear. They seem to honor the 3-day rule, and the bankruptcy clerk stated in person that he was not familiar with the medieval age rule of third night on Hindu, whatever that is, when I asked him about the 3-day rule. Well, what that tells me is he's trying to show the clerk how much he knows, because that hasn't been relevant. That didn't come from Patrick. That's something he developed. The clerk had to take the documents to the back office and have them checked by someone else. However, when filing items when filing items to the judge's direct for bankruptcy and district, they either do not respond or the item gets docketed as a miscellaneous court filing. The right of repatriation, paramount right of immediate possession account, claim posted on May 22nd was an example of this result posted to the Chief District Judge and both bankruptcy judges. The result was the claim was docketed and a miscellaneous case filing at the district court. Miscellaneous case types to be a suspense type of account in which they receive items they are unsure what to do with until additional motions occur from the moving party. This was made clear in my Article 3 claim lodge last year, June 2013. One thing, these filings are not, none of these filings to the federal or these courts required paying out of pocket fees, which leads to the credence of the prepaid nature of being in bankruptcy, the rule of he must pay benefits. Okay, now, this also goes along with what Bill said yesterday, that he thinks the case and the writs of execution might be working. And Patrick pointed out that what he should have done last Tuesday was notify us to drop the case and the writs, that they weren't going to work. So I don't know what brought Patrick about that, so that we dropped completely the case and the writs, but the information that we were writing in those writs have now been put into this ballot that we're now working. Any questions about that?
So you're saying the ballot just replaces the writs?
Yes, the ballot replaces the case and the writs.
Right, it's kind of like getting your eraser out on the chalkboard kind of thing.
Well, it's with the case didn't have our elector status. We didn't have our big pad to beat him on the head with.
Right.
So the writs, are those the recensions? Is that what you're referring to? Resigning any documents?
Restitution, yes.
Okay.
All that information is still in this ballot. We just don't. We take it from the case writ, and we stick it in this ballot. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So let's go back to this. Any problem with the subject line? That this is elector status and vote. Court verification, court certification and validation. You're asking the court to certify and validate that you are a U.S. elector and to take the vote and count it.
Will undoubtedly be other groups of people who will build their own ship. And
Someone's talking in the background.
It actually finished their projects before we did.
Not here.
Okay, I'll have to mute them out. I'm going to mute out the number ending in 5308.
So that's the change, is to certify and validate instead of court validation.
Right. Well, what they're doing is validating our status and certifying the vote. Because every election has the vote certified by a judge. I understand the first sentence. By the certified mailing and green card signing, you have been properly served to perform the required tasks. So this is the certificate of service right there in that sentence. Whenever you send stuff out, you have to send a certificate of service. So any questions with the 3 points?
Okay.
Someone else want to read the 3 points?
I can read them.
Okay.
Number 1, court validation of my constitutional and statutory U.S.S. electors qualification and status. You want
Basically,
me to go on this?
What was said in the subject line.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Want me to go on to number 2?
2.
2 is court validation of my U.S. electors voting trust votes.
Okay.
Or should I add the quotation marks?
No.
Between. Okay.
The people should have the document in front of them.
Okay. And number 3, court is to issue court orders to enforce the U.S. electors' voted actions into their fulfill effect.
I think that should just be into their full effect, not fulfill.
Okay. Full effect.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I also think court is to issue orders instead of court is to issue court orders. That's just me.
Well, that's specified more clearly below, and we actually say what we want ordered.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, someone else want to go on with the other sentences?
I want to back up on 3. When you say U.S. elector voted actions into their full effect, why would you use the word into?
Well, that's normally the way the phrase goes when you ask for full effect. Carry out this action to a well, I guess you can use another preposition if you want. Just to their full effect if you want. I think in mine I probably did just simply to full effect. I left out the there.
Yeah, because I don't think fulfill effect makes sense, but
no. Well, I think Patrick often does this. He starts his sentences out one way and revises them as he's going along and doesn't go back and edit. I do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So he was probably talking about fulfilling the actions, and then he turned it around and used the phrase to full effect.
No, Patrick's pure genius, and we just have to pick up some details. That's fine, but
right.
He's up there in the clouds helping us that way. So, yeah.
Well, he wants us to do that with him because the process he's doing is actually very, very logical. I view this as all like learning to play the piano. You know, you can learn the principles, but until you sit there and practice, it's not going to be automatic. The process of learning the piano is to go from your mental understanding of what's going on to just simply physical action automatically on its own. And that's what we're trying to get to. So we're trying to move this from our rational reasoning mind into our unconscious mind, which just simply reacts to things. It doesn't think them through. It knows what to do already. Okay, go on to by my will. Someone.
Okay, I'll read it. Oh, go ahead,
okay.
Nancy. You can do it.
Okay. By my will, I am coming in honor to protect and serve my sovereign nation, and I am expecting the same honor in return.
That's sort of a challenge.
Now, can you put require / expecting? I am requiring / expecting? Or does that matter? I mean, does that help at all or not? To make it sound more nice.
Well, I think the way it is
good enough.
I think required makes it a little more aggressive.
Okay.
I'm saying, I want you to do a good job. I'm expecting you to do it because I think you're a good guy.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. Next.
Do you want to read more, Nancy, or shall I?
You can go.
Okay,
Thank you.
well, okay. I have attached copies of the required documents to support my U.S.Elector qualifications and true status.
Right.
I have,
And
so that's pretty much.
And you know where in that document it is, right?
Yeah, because you're attaching. Yeah, I have the.
Yes, it's the very first vote you do. I'm 25, and I know what I'm doing.
The voting, right, in the voting box.
Right. It's the first two things. I am qualified. That's what, your first vote is saying I am qualified.
All U.S. elector voting qualifications are fulfilled. You check yes.
Yes.
That's on the other page.
Right.
We can shrink this down to fit on one page, or does it have to be the front and the back of the first
You
page?
can do it however you want.
Right, so the formatting.
Now, actually, I usually set things up in 12-point type.
Yeah.
But for this cover letter, I had to set it in 11-point on my doc file. It still looks pretty much the same.
Okay, I'll read the next little paragraph, and then someone else can do after. I have the originals of several of the items needed by the U.S. Marshals and the U.S. Secret Service, period. For the ones that I do not have, I do have copies of them, and I can direct them to where they are, period. Okay.
That's a new idea. Now, I added from what he had before. If I find further documents later, I will forward them later.
Yeah, it's always good to keep your original. It's very important.
Okay.
All right, somebody else can go.
Okay, read it. I'm going to be away from about a minute.
Has anybody sent this stuff in?
Not me.
Not me yet.
Like Tom said, there's chickens, and I'm one of them.
I'm back.
Yeah.
I can understand that.
We got the facts page that we got, I think, today or yesterday. Do not tread on me. The facts one.
Yeah.
And then we have to use going to our chief district judge wherever we live, whatever, town or state or whatever, county. So that's a cover sheet for the ballot. Everybody got that, I guess.
The Don't Tread on Me?
Yeah,
is it
that's
cover?
the cover sheet.
Oh, I'm going to write that down.
It's a fax and it's a cover sheet, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's
and then I think you'd have to add how many pages on it, like 1 out of 6 or 1 out of 4, when you fax it.
Right.
Oh, wow.
I wonder if we have to, after we fax, after we complete it and everything, if we send them the hard copy, even though we faxed them. I don't know.
The way it's looking here is what we're actually doing. We're just mailing the ballot in.
What about the fact sheet?
Certified mail. We send that in separately as a follow-up.
What, the fact sheet?
The fact sheet.
Oh, so we mail in the ballot first, and then we fax the cover sheet after?
Right.
Oh, okay. All right, let's put the fact sheet aside. All right, who wants to read?
Tom. Can you hear me?
You're very faint. We can hear you lightly.
Okay, just a second.
Oh,
Is that better?
Yeah, that's much better.
Okay, I'll read the next sentence, but first, it was just pointed out to me that some of the latest assassinations in the store
The nutcases put the "Don't Tread on Me" flag on the body.
The guy that went into that killed the 2 cops in the Walmart.
Yeah. You mean this is the Las Vegas shooting you're talking about?
Right.
What
They've
happened?
been using the "Don't Tread on Me" flag as their symbol.
I don't believe anything about that case because the first report saying that the 2 shooters killed each other.
Yeah.
Well, how do you do that?
Right.
No, it's all the media. They make everything up.
I think this is a case of bad cop shooting and a total fabrication of what's going on.
Yep.
Yeah, but we might want to do some research to find out.
And they're using this to enforce their calling any protest domestic terrorism. This is to beef up the concept of domestic terrorism.
Also, it could be.
That's pretty much off topic.
Might want to do some research to find out if there's any validity to that.
Well, I'm sure people are doing it.
No, I saw a video.
There's been a whole lot of work going. There's a whole lot of work been going into Sandy Hook.
See, it doesn't matter whether there's validity to it or not. It was on the news.
Okay, it was a news article. That plants it in everybody's head, even if it wasn't an actual occurrence. Now, if we send these in with the "Don't Tread on Me" flag on it, could be a problem.
Well, if you don't want to, don't do it.
This is awful.
Yeah, I mean, who cares? I mean,
hell, it's from the revolution.
Yeah, definition of terrorist is anyway. I tell you that someone who's a terrorist to me, I'm a terrorist too. That's just the way it is, you know.
Right. The founders were terrorists. Our founders were terrorists.
Absolutely.
Well, no, they weren't.
Yes, they were.
That's using their dictionary.
Yeah.
They didn't want to
the founders were the patriots. The king and his redcoats were the terrorists.
We're paying like $6 tax to it. It's ridiculous.
Well, actually, we're under, the corporate counterfeit government. We're under our state-sponsored terrorists.
Yeah. Absolutely, state-sponsored terrorism. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and that's exactly.
There's a lot of feedback. I can't even understand this.
Pardon? Okay, Greg, I'm going to have to mute you out because you have some conversations going on in the background.
Oh no, I'm here by myself.
Here.
Yeah.
But
you're listening on the speaker then.
I'm on the phone. Well, I'm actually on a cordless phone. Maybe that might be it.
Well, you're getting feedback from whatever you're listening to back into the mic.
Sounds like you're coming from Utah.
You think so? I have no mic on, just earphones. I'll have to see if I can figure it out.
Maybe it's the NSA. We were talking about stuff, so they might have put in their stuff.
Well, actually, I'm calling in on Skype, and every once in a while, Skype will build up an echo. Doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. I may have to disconnect from the call and call back in, and that won't take very long.
Yeah, you're a little bit muffled.
He's muffled. Yeah, you're a little muffled, but it sounds better now. Not as much feedback.
Is that any better?
You're definitely.
Yep.
I mean, it's a good call. It's not real.
Yeah, it's the difference between whether my microphone is 1 inch away or 2 inches away. Huh. Okay, so what sentence are we on reading here? The 25,000 sentence?
Yes.
Okay. And so you get what you're doing here, right? Now,
Tom?
Yes.
Okay, I made a couple of changes in that.
You made a couple of what?
On the 25,000 sentence.
Yes.
I am, comma, as a U.S.elector, comma, requiring that the relief of 25,000. I am requiring.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. In currency of exchange, be given within 3 days, semicolon. If the whole process is not able to be completed within that time frame, on the given within 3 days, you have an extra space.
Right. And in fact, I considered actually moving that sentence around, saying if the whole process is not able to be completed within the 3-day time limit, I am, as a U.S. elector, requiring that $25,000 in cash be delivered. You know, the way he reads it.
That's actually better.
Okay, say that again, please.
Just change the sentence around. Start with the if clause at the end. Put the if clause in front.
So you would start with if.
Put 25,000 USD.
So you would start with
yes,
if the whole process.
Do that if you want to. Well, yeah, you can make your own changes. In fact, it's probably good to be making changes and rewording some of this, even if it's not necessary. I saw some of the stuff. Another person he turned in, and he actually changed Patrick's language quite a bit. I think Patrick's language was better, but I don't think it hurts to do that as long as the meaning is there. That way, they can't say, "Oh, you guys are just following a template."
Yeah, no, I agree. And as long as when the guys come to the door, we want to be able to explain. Here's what we're trying to do, and and if we say it all a little different, that's fine.
And if they come to the door and they say, "Why is this stuff so similar?" It's because we speak weekly to each other on how to do this. We're working on this together.
Have you ever heard of the 100th monkey syndrome? We're all figuring it out.
Well, the last thing we want to do, and it would just simply be totally improper, is to say, "I don't know what this is. Patrick Devine told me what to do. I don't. Go look at him."
Mm. Well, that's why we can always say we are a study group. We're a group of people studying.
Right. And I think that's part of what.
I think that's nothing. So Patrick is giving us all his stuff for his heart, and he's just helping us. He's leading us, and in the Holy Spirit, as far as I see, certain people are waking up. Patrick just happens to have a really good grasp of this particular piece.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean the grasp, improves from day to day.
Yeah, no, he's the guy. And I used to live in Iowa, and there's one thing about Iowans. I mean, they do not give up. I mean, this is one stubborn man, and he's just not going to give up, and he's going to win.
Right. So I think the next question might be down in the attachments. Because not everybody will do this the same. And why is that?
Everybody's situation is different.
Yes.
Yeah, some of us have all the parts and some of us don't.
Right. So some of us have 2 documents, some of them have 3. The third document is the DD-214 if you're in the military.
What about the copy of elector's personal identification? Can you put your passport in there, or you need
he basically, I asked that question on the Friday call. And basically, what he said. He has an identification. He went down to the sheriff years ago. The guy with his own fingerprints, and they took a picture, and they gave him an identification card without a social security number. But this isn't the case. This isn't the case of another case of go with what you got. If you don't have it, don't put it in.
No. I was thinking of making footprints.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And having it, shrink it down. Well, that's going to be weird.
Tape in a lock of hair if you want.
Spit. Okay.
I was looking at my passport the other day, and it specifies a surname at top, which is my last name, and then it specifies a given name as my first and middle name, and then on the back of the card it says my last name first, and then my arrows, and then my first name, and then arrows, and then my middle name.
And you know how you take care of that in this document?
No.
Also known as.
Right.
Also known as. Yes. Perfect. Thank you.
AKA, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only an AKA. There's a name that I use this time, but I have many lives, so many names. So I'm not that name.
So Thomas, we sign it with the L in front of our name.
Yes. Yeah, that's another change to make, and also at the top, it's no longer you put the L at the top in your address.
I see that's on the fax that he sent.
Right.
Yeah, he has the L Patrick semicolon Divine. Oh, he has, yeah. Now, when we sign it with the L, we do it the same way, and then we seal it with green. Emboss it.
Yes, we seal it with an embosser. And remember, he said, put a 3-cent stamp on here and endorse it right at the end of your signature. And then with your embosser, compress the whole thing.
Is there a reason why? Is there a reason why we sign on the right side instead of the left side and emboss it on the right side? Like switch it.
Creditors sign on the right side, debtors sign on the left side.
Left side. Oh, good. Nancy,
yeah, they have us sign our mortgage first on the right side, and then they trick us, and you have to sign on the left side.
The 3-cent stamp should be on the top right.
No, he said by the signature.
Oh, right at the bottom right. Okay.
No, left of the signature.
Oh, left of the signature?
Yeah, I'm looking at the printout.
You're not going to be able to emboss it there. Embossers don't reach that far.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
We want to emboss the stamp too?
Yes.
Yeah.
The signature and the stamp.
Because you could put the stamp and a thumbprint and an embosser all together if you needed to.
Yeah. But, I mean, you put the stamp on there, sign through it, put your thumbprint on it, and we're not doing left and right witnesses on this document.
Mm-hmm.
So,
because the left and right witnesses...
It looks like you could put a stamp right below it and sign through it, put your thumbprint on it to the right of it, and emboss the whole thing, signature, stamp, and thumbprint.
Sure. That would work.
Yeah, there's enough room on the right. Yeah. Yeah, there's enough room on the right of the signature to do all that.
Well, if it isn't enough room, you could always move the by line over a bit.
And you can do it under it?
No, the by line is right now starting in the middle of the page. You just move it one tab over.
Yeah, I get you.
Okay, so you're signing. You're going to sign right there. Put the right and left index fingers, and then you're going to.
No, it doesn't say first and second witnesses.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're up on the first.
Yeah,
page.
mine says
you're doing it all right here on the cover page.
All right. When you put a stamp on, as part of the canceling the stamp is canceling with your signature and your fingerprint.
Okay. And the seal, I guess, embosser, huh?
Well, the seal says you can't screw around with this. That's the sealing part.
Okay. Is it okay that my seal says the James Robertson Daneke Trust or Estate? Is that okay?
What is yours?
The James Robertson Daneke Estate.
Well, yeah, and I then got one that has me a banker. That's the last one. And he says, hammer it. Use a hammer or scratch it, drag a nail through it. Go with what you got.
That's a good idea. They say, where'd you get that embosser? I'll say it's from another planet.
Okay, I don't have an embosser.
I think a beer cap might work well, a beer bottle cap. You can emboss it with that.
That's a good idea, yeah.
It'll work.
Go with what you got.
Okay. Now, it's rather inexpensive to get an embosser.
Yeah, I got one for $25 shipped. Was it?
Yes, that's about the price I paid. Well, actually, the price I paid, it's actually $15 for the embosser and $15 for the stamp inside.
Red stamp.
And you can get separate stamps, so you can change it. It's just $15 for each one of the stamps.
Yeah. But they give you the little happy face too, Tom, so we could put the happy face on these things too.
If you want.
Hey, Tom, I want to ask you another question back to the sentence above it about the 25,000. Is that just it's not really a penalty, it's just a request?
No. And I also changed it to say $25,000 from my account.
And don't make it conditional if the whole process is not able to be completed within a time frame. Why don't you just say as a compensation, that you want to be compensated.
Well,
don't you just want the money, even if it's...
I think his psychology here was to say, you hurry this up and you'll save yourself a little bit of work.
Meaning a little bit of money?
No, it's not going to cost them any money. We're not telling them to pay us $25,000. We're telling it to, you're going to be giving us our account. Give me a little bit of it now.
Oh, okay.
Which account? There's so many. There's a few, right?
Well, let them pick it.
Okay, gotcha.
Why not just order the relief of $25,000 in currency be given within 3 days?
Well, if you want to do that, do that.
Yeah, the whole process is not completed.
I'm going to go with this. I've changed a few words and moved the order around.
Because you want the money no matter what, don't you?
It certainly would help, but if I'm going to get the whole shebang in a week or a month, it really doesn't make that much difference to me.
Like I would say, I am as a U.S. elector requiring that a relief of $25,000 be paid immediately. You might need a new roof or something,
Well, yeah. And he's calling it relief. I don't like the idea of relief, but because you're saying if you're having trouble putting this together, just give me a bit now to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Phrase it however you want.
Yeah.
But if you're getting it if they're going to give it to you from one of your accounts, would that be lawful money then?
It should be.
Okay.
But they may not do the whole lawful money routine until they open up the treasury account. This may end up.
I think if you tell them that you want cash, that's going to be kind of messy because you're going to have guys out with $25,000 and all kind of shit. So I don't know if they're going to give you cash. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Patrick used to do.
You better say lawful money, or it will be taxed.
Yeah.
I'll take an ATM card, from the Treasury Network.
Well, you could tell them to put. I would tell them to
electronically transfer it into your checking account
or my Direct Express account.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I want. Yeah, you put it in my Treasury Direct, and we're good to go.
Okay.
So can you be currently working?
Now, what Patrick said, don't sweat that. Let's get all the details in and exactly how they're going to set it up. Let's leave for later. Let's get the money moving towards us and not fuss about the detail.
Right.
Right, because now he's saying with the foreign grantor trust, don't even bother when they want to put the money in. Tell them create a foreign grantor trust for us.
Yeah.
Then you're the beneficiary again, or it'll be taxed.
Okay. Shall we go through the voting trust now? The ballot itself.
Yeah.
Is there any problems with the voting trust U.S. elector trustee requirements?
Is anybody going to do it on green paper?
I am. I've had a whole ream of it.
You got a ream? I don't know. I'll have to put it on the office.
Yeah, I got it. I don't know, Office Max.
Does it matter the size? Does it have to be legal paper or?
No, I did it 8.5 by 11.
Okay.
I wouldn't do it any other size because it's terribly hard to scan it if it's a legal size.
Okay.
Unless you have the scanner for that.
Right.
You got a whole ream of what kind of paper?
Just green paper.
Oh, green. Light green?
I made sure it was 24 pounds, not 20. So it's a little heavier.
Is it dark green or just light green?
A kind of light green.
Yeah.
Now, can you be currently working, or should I quit my job?
When you have $300 million on the table, are you going to keep your job?
I wouldn't quit.
Yeah, right. I just want to make sure that I'm not
right. Well,
working.
Get the cash first.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you quit your job, let me know where they're hiring because I need some work. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that I'm not working illegally and trying to collect rightfully through my account.
Okay.
Because they are taking income taxes.
Well, that's all going to stop because as an elector, you're out of the system.
Right.
You're not required to pay tax anymore.
Right. Okay.
But you can make mistakes and be right back in.
Sure.
After you're out.
That's right.
Like
I think Patrick's going to be more valuable.
If you're not lawful and you're just legal, you are back in.
Right. And Patrick's going to be more valuable to us after we get out than
I think you said that backwards.
Are legal, not lawful.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Is there any problem about the elector requirements? You have to be of age, and that you're the inherent owner of the voting trust. You're saying this is my money.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're doing is identifying yourself as the person who has all these documents below. So do you want to continue the bankrupt to keep using all your stuff and defrauding you?
No.
Okay. Notice he took the hell no out.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I see that.
Right? Okay, number 2. Any problems with that? If you're in several states, which state are you going to put in?
All right. So what do you put after citizen? Just put your name? You just put your name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what does it have after it?
Also known as, yeah.
Yeah. And this is where if you're going to make it, you're going to change that into 4 lines rather than 3 lines because it's a lot of AKAs.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But the first name, the citizen name, is the all caps name?
What's on your birth certificate?
Oh, okay. So it'll just be my maiden name and right, because the birth certificate is the oldest and everything follows after that.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Well, my birth certificate or birth registration has my name in it up in lowercase, so it's correct.
Mine was
however it is.
Yeah.
Well, remember, Patrick has said upper lowercase versus all caps doesn't make a difference. It's a good
they're
sign
the ones that create. They're the ones that created the uppercase.
Right. It's a good sign of what's going on, but it doesn't actually really make a difference. And it's probably that way because in the earliest days of computers, the punch cards didn't have any lowercase; they were all uppercase.
Yeah.
Well, nowadays you get credit card requests from people, and they're doing upper lowercase, so they're fixing all this. They're just burying the truth as deep as they can. Because it used to have to be all caps. Now they're just fucking with it. They're just messing around with it.
All right. Okay. So what we're getting into here, all these elective items to be voting on, where do these come from? Where did we have them on previous documents? This is what the writs of execution are going to be all about.
I don't know. I think it's best to put your all capitalized name in this one, in this number 2.
Yeah, if you want, go ahead.
Yeah. because we're executing the straw man. We're,
right.
That's all there is to it.
So
you
any
own that
problem?
name?
No, but it is, the name is private.
Are you leasing it or what?
No, the name is private, and we have control of all variations and replications of the name. I mean, I did a commercial notice already saying so.
Okay, I'll be
private.
I'll be back in less than a minute.
If they created it, they abandoned it, then you can.
Anything. I noticed nothing.
Well, you're just letting the public know, yeah, that you're
I
doing
think
something that's private.
Letting them know what? You don't have any private control over that.
That's all their stuff.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, but at the time, that was the best thing to do at the time.
It doesn't sound like you understand that.
Yeah, my understanding changed between 1987 and now.
I have a question about number 2.
Yeah, I'm on wanting number 2 too. I don't think I'm going to execute the quasi instead of my, just for me.
Well,
I guess you can understand it all the time. I hope someday you will overstand it.
Yeah.
Hey, number 2, United States / state of is where you live, right?
Well, yeah, technically you live in your body, but yeah.
And now what if you lived in other states? Can you put the state of, say, California and the state of New York and the state of...
Yeah.
Can you do, 3 states instead of having to do 3 different copies?
No, this is just where you are right now.
Okay. Where you reside.
Yeah, no. Remember Patrick's saying you just want to do the basic stuff, and then once you're out, then you come back and start looking at stuff. But you're only in one state right now, and so that's all you're going to do.
Okay.
Don't try to add a bunch of states right now.
Yeah, I think you're right, because I think you're right. Right.
Yeah, because once we get free, we can come back and be buddies with the judge. Say, hey, I didn't get this taken care of. Can you do this? And then they'll be on our side possibly. But first we got to get over the damn thing.
Oh, okay, I'm back.
Let me throw in a thing in here. We don't live in the state of. The state of is the corporation.
Right. We live in our bodies.
Like in the case of California, we may live in California state.
Read the whole phrase.
Okay.
We're not talking about where we're living. We're identifying the bankrupt.
Right. No, you're
right.
We're
not putting the question on that count. She was just saying that she lives in the state of such and such. I say, no, don't want to use that term, do we? You may live in Ohio, but you don't live in the state of Ohio.
Right. I actually live on the soil in Ohio.
But all we're doing in this one is identifying the bankrupt.
Right. And she was asking if we should do it for multiple states, and I was saying, no, Patrick said just do it for one state, and then if we come back later after we're done, then we'll have probably better luck. But don't.
Well, no, we actually do multiple states. That you'll see what's going on later. You'll see where that comes in.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, but this also can go on. If you do one state, you can then, when Secret Service comes visit you, you say, hey, look at all this other stuff I found.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So we take care of number 2. Number 3, any problems? Social Security account.
Right.
Now, that's a key phrase here. The key phrase is all bailment surety, all attached bailment security. How did he have it in the other? Well, that's the way he has it here. Attachments, right. All bailment surety attachments. So I spoke them to it. They changed it slightly. To full settlement of all attached surety bailments. So, all you have to do is put your Social Security account in there and vote yes. Number 4 shouldn't be a problem. Now, it might be a problem for me in that I did have an expired passport, and I later got a renewed passport and traveled to Mexico briefly, and I don't know where that passport is. So I might either call and find out what that passport number was, or just add to this and the replacement passport whose number is not available. Number 5 may be a problem for some people. Because if you're in a church, you're probably going to have to ask them what's their equivalent of the certificate of baptism. What document do they use to register you in that church?
Yeah, I'm not in any church, so I got no documents for that stuff.
So just delete that then. Renumber things.
Yeah. Or I could just say no, I guess.
Okay. Six is not a problem, right? Driver's license?
Yeah, that's not a problem for me.
Okay, and the voter's card should not be a problem.
Yeah, I don't know what my number
Except
is.
the problem, my voter registrations were simply a postcard, and the numbers were above where it was addressed to me.
I killed my voter's card a decade ago.
Well, yes, but you may have turned it in. However, you didn't go after all the funds attached to it. Remember what the voter card does. It allows the House to pass all kinds of bills, and when it's a bill, that means you pay for them. So you want those accounts settled.
Yeah, I sent documents to Secretary of State, all kind of people canceling, but I guess I can just put voter card.
As long as you have the card, if you have the card, put it in.
Well, I ain't got the card, so I'm just going to forget about it. That's just like details. I don't need to worry about that.
Okay. Well, it's actually a pretty significant detail. It's probably much more money in the voter card than there is in the driver's license.
I've got no voter card, Tom. I haven't voted in 12, 14 years, and I tried to make sure that it was canceled, and I checked.
Okay. Well, I've got voter cards from 2 states and driver license from 3 states.
Yeah,
and
I would have had one.
And my Arizona license I haven't used in 15 years. It's
right.
still
I would have
go
a
in.
voter card in Iowa and Colorado and Nevada and California and Oregon. I mean, I got them everywhere. But
put them in.
I got no idea, Tom. I mean, I'm ready to be homeless. I got almost, I got no.
Oh, okay.
Can you go to Secretary of State and ask for
just
status?
Yeah, just I say I had a card before. What was the number? That's all you really want to know.
I'll be the poor one out of this group.
Yes, this all goes under the category. Go with what you got.
Yeah, I'm going to do this because I got a real estate broker's license, and I bet my ham radio license is worth $1 million right there. I'll throw that one.
Right,
my
right.
Pilot, $1 million.
Sure. Because you're going to get green sheet equivalents of all of that.
Yeah. So that's cool. Well, hopefully
okay,
not the real estate license.
Go with what you got. Go with what you have to get this in, and you can always add things when the Secret Service shows up, and you can always then add it in later. By forwarding an amendment or secondary vote.
Yeah.
Or special election.
No, even if I get $1,000 out of the deal, I'm happy.
Right. So I have no vehicle, so I'm adding a bunch of points in there for the 3 driver's licenses and 2 voters cards, but I have no vehicle at this point. So though I think I may still have some titles around. And if I do have some titles around, I can put them in there because I never titled it over to anybody else.
What if I just paid off a car and I got the lien release And that's all. That's at the point where I'm at. What further step would I have to take? I shouldn't go down to the motor vehicle department and register it, obviously, or I'm signing myself.
All the vehicle number here is, I think, is the VIN number.
The VIN number. Okay.
Yeah, I don't even have plates on my car, but I unregistered my car, so I just have the pink slip.
Yeah,
here.
but you don't need the registration number. You want the VIN number.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the pink slip. Yeah.
So what if I want to sell the car? Do I have? I don't have to register it, do I? I can just sell it.
No, you just have to have the title. All you got to have is the title.
So I do have to go register.
Part of your full settlement is that you're going to ask them to give you the manufacturer's certificate of origin.
Yeah, which in California I know they don't have. They're destroyed at the car dealerships out in California. They never even make it to the DMV. So.
I doubt that. I bet you they make them to the DMV, and that's just what you're told.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so no problem with number 9. You're just repeating. Well, no, you weren't asked the birth certificate number before. So number 9, you do that. Number 10, you put in your DD, your military service. Now, some people have more than one DD 214. And then you see what the attachment is down here. You remember above on the cover page, he said there were three documents he was sending in. He's enumerating those 3 documents here.
I got one.
Well, then you change, put only one in, and you on the cover page where it says attachment, you indicate the number up there.
Yep, I got one. One's
Okay.
better than none.
So you sign it. Here's where your left and right witnesses go.
Now, this is where we put a left and a right witness.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And is with his U.S. Republic nation outside the federal U.S. trust zone, I know for years a lot of guys had used they put the brackets because it means that it's invisible. It's off the page. That's why they put it in brackets.
That's right. Anything in brackets or anything inside of a box doesn't exist.
Right. So rather than U.S. Republic nation outside blah, 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 if you just put it in brackets, isn't that the same?
I don't know. I think it's good to clarify it.
Some people put non-domestic, which also covers it.
Well, do it what you want, but I'm going to go with the way he has.
Non-domestic, yeah. Non-domestic without the U.S. is what some people put.
I know. I've seen all kinds of variations on it. Now's not the time to argue about all that.
No, I'm not arguing about that at all.
Okay.
Yep. All right.
Now.
It's real good. Yeah, I love it.
Okay. So now the judge has to put his signature below this, but you notice you have to know exactly what district you're in of the U.S. district courts. Some states have 4 districts, probably New York.
Ohio. I just put above it Northern District.
Right. Okay, number 2, what do you put in the blank?
Wherever you live.
No. Yes, right.
Wherever you are right now.
Right, wherever we are. What do you put in number 3?
Same thing. State
No. The voting trust is in the state where you were born.
Okay.
And I think he also said you could use the state where you live as to what to put in number 2, because the birth certificate is actually federal, and it doesn't make any difference what state you're saying there. But in my case, in number 3, I'm going to say state of Ohio, state of Nebraska, and state of Arizona. Because look, attorney generals, plural.
Okay, so that's where I'd enter, like all 5 states where I've lived?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I have 2 there, just like I put in 2 for number 2.
Cool.
Two
right.
states.
Yeah, but he was more specific there to do just 1 state on number 2.
For number 2?
Yes.
Okay.
And then,
Alrighty.
how about green card, elector status, ID, and passport, or equivalent, maybe?
Want to add that? Okay.
I don't know. I just thinking in case there is no green card anymore. I mean, I know the passports used to be green, but maybe they're just blue now, and they just put on that chip.
No, you missed the calls on that.
Okay.
There are green passports.
Okay.
That means you have almost diplomatic status.
Yeah, that's my favorite color. I like it.
Okay, so.
Oh, that wasn't the elf call, was it?
All right. So the judge isn't asked for his fingerprints.
Okay.
So now in mine, down here in all of these, the terminate and liquidate all this stuff, I'm going to put in one property which has 4 lots in it. And what I mean by full settlement of all attached surety here is to get back all the money I paid in property tax and get the property back in a allodial title.
Does somebody else live in that home right now, Tom?
Actually, no, it's seized by the bank right now.
Oh, that's great.
Okay.
We lost our house, and there's no way it's gone.
Okay. So I'm also for the utility company out in Nebraska. I'm going to ask them to offset the final bill and full settlement of the rendered account because I paid 12 years of utilities out there.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay. I paid 12 years of property.
That all goes on page 1?
No, that all goes in this list that we just went through here.
No, but that was on page 1, right?
Page 1 of 2, yeah, as far as the...
Yes, page 1 of 2. In the section terminate and liquidate the following quasi-bankrupt bailer, debtor, and bailments.
Right.
Yeah, and we can go to 3 pages if it takes 3 pages. If somebody might have more
that's
stuff.
what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. You can go to 6.
Yeah. But with 6 you get egg roll, I think.
Yeah. So I'm asking, I have a bankruptcy case, asking them to settle that. I have 3 cases which basically took the property away on the tax liens. I've got a mortgage, which then was sold to another company, and that company illegally foreclosed on the property. So I'm putting both of those things in.
Okay, now that's going in that section under terminate and liquidate the following quasi-bankrupt bailee.
Right.
Okay, so you can add some more in there. All right.
Now, I asked Patrick about the $300 envelopes. He said wait until they show up. I got 23. I have 23 $300 envelopes.
Okay, I got maybe about 5 or 6.
Okay, wait till they show up. I have some old gold bonds.
What Thomas? What about frivolous filing stuff?
Put that in.
Put that in with the envelopes.
Well, you can either put it into this list or add it when they come. Probably it's better to give it to them when they come.
With the envelopes. Yeah, I got a bunch of those too. Okay.
So I have a bunch of bonds that actually J.P. Morgan over the years, the 1924 bonds, and Daddy Bush basically has notoriously prevented them from being cashed in. So what I'll be doing is when the Treasury finally sets up my Treasury account, I will deposit these bonds into the account.
Mm-hmm.
No, I asked Patrick says don't even bother giving them to them when they come. Wait till the account is set up and then just deposit it. Okay?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how we're going to get these Secret Service guys showing up, and I mean, what if you're guys out here, your agents, your federal agents, Secret Service, and you know this stuff. I mean, why the hell you want to be a Secret Service agent?
Right. Well, maybe they don't really know the stuff. It's going to be kind of a lesson to them. I mean, I'm just tempted like crazy to say I can show you how to do this so you can get rid of that crappy job.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, even to the cop that stops you, to give you a ticket, you could say, there's other ways. I know you probably think there aren't because you're stuck knee deep in this shit with the mortgage and 2 kids and everything.
Right. Okay. So, any questions about this? Can you go and get this in?
Okay. Now, was it something on the very first page?
Yeah.
That you said it's 1 of 1.
Well, remember we have 1 of 1, and then we have 1 of 2 and 2 of 2. There's 3 pages here.
Yeah, I'm looking on the first page.
Right, the cover sheet.
Now, in here where it says to U.S. District Chief Judge, is that where we put the deliver to senior?
No, we address this not to the Chief Judge, but to the Clerk of the Court of the District Court. And we put that wordage that I gave you to put on the envelope.
What is that?
Oh. Well, someone who needs to be muted. They're in here as anonymous.
Okay, so it's going to the clerk of the district court.
Yes, you do this to yes, you address this to the clerk of the district court.
Okay.
And you want me to go over the wording again for the outside of the envelope?
Yeah.
Yes.
Special service required. Next line. Deliver to senior U.S. Qualified Elector Judge.
Mm-hmm.
Blank line. A sealed ballot.
Mm-hmm.
How about maybe put like in parentheses Article 3 judge?
You can do that if you want.
Okay, you said deliver to senior qualified what judge?
Elector judge.
Elector judge, okay.
Because you could do the Article 3 if you want, but elector judge is saying that. He can only it can only be Article 3 if he's an elector.
No, that's fine. No, that's good. Yeah, just right words.
And then what's after that?
A sealed ballot.
A sealed ballot.
Yeah, you have a ballot inside which you've sealed.
Yeah, I have special service required, deliver to senior, but you have to address it to the clerk of the court of the district court or something, right?
Right.
Because
the clerk is required to deliver to the senior judge, the senior elector judge.
Clerk of the
that way, because quite often the chief judge is not a senior judge, and it's the senior judges that are usually the electors who are sitting their own accounts and are just doing their job. They're not paid, and they're doing it because they love to do it. Right. Probably do it wrong, but still do it.
So you mail it to the clerk of the district court.
Pardon?
You mail it to the clerk of the district court, and then you say special service required, and then you say
on
deliver.
the envelope. On the envelope, lower left-hand side.
Yeah. Okay.
And probably the higher quality envelope, the better. Hey, Tom, as far as your green paper, is that a high quality bond paper, like 20 pounds or something?
I got 24 pounds. It's not really bond paper. It's still copy paper quality. It doesn't have texturing like bond.
Yeah, I just kind of like bond. It sets it apart.
Well, I have some cream-colored bond that I use every once in a while too, left over from business.
You know, if you're going to give them something that's going to last for a long time, bond paper really lets.
Yeah, when we were doing money orders, I had parchment paper, probably 70-pound paper.
Yeah, and the old bonds back in the day, you know, with the redemption crap.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, so we went over the documents themselves and how to package it up and send it in, and how to sign it.
Yeah. Is someone going to send out an update of the few changes that were made, like with the special delivery required, and just put that?
Yeah, I'll do an email notifying people, and then if Patrick makes a revision to this, we'll incorporate it in the revision.
Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and try to create a YouTube for the last Sunday's show and see if
right.
I can
Not yeah, you can do yesterday's show if you want, but the previous one is a good one.
You said the previous Sunday, right?
Yes, the one on the 10th? No.
Something like that, or 8th or 9th?
Well, today's the 16th. So 15 was the Sunday, and so
on the
7 from 15. Okay, the 8th of June.
8th, yeah. Okay.
Has anybody put a border around it, or do we still need to do that?
Well, I don't know how to do that. I haven't found a proper border for the ballot, and the way
Word.
Well, yes, but not all of us have Word. The capabilities of Open Office are not as extensive.
Yeah, I use Open Office too. So let me see here.
But in Open Office, if you can get an image, a page-sized image of the border you want, then you can put it in as a background image, and everything goes on top of it.
Yeah, and it's kind of fun to do watermarks and stuff too.
Okay, so if someone can find a nice border, I'd appreciate that. Right now, as it was, I was just going to put it on green paper and probably convert the Patrick's PDF into an image, and then get in there and white out everything but the border. And use that.
You can also buy paper with a border and
I guess you could
put it up there to print it.
I'm without a car now, so I have to go with what
I just put a border in Open Office. It's with I did an insert frame, and then you just put everything inside that frame.
Yeah, you could do that, but all the frames there are lines.
Yeah, that's true.
At least what Patrick has on his ballot is a little design.
Yeah.
I thought of once I get the image of that of converting the black border into a very dark green border.
Yeah, the other thing you could do is you could just print something out, a border from another program. It was just the border, and just print it out, and then go ahead and put the paper back in the laser printer.
Sure, that's another way of doing it. You can either have it as a background image or print the border separately.
Yeah. So, either way. It's not that important anyway, but it looks great.
Okay.
I like that image, the light green paper and the dark green border.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at graphics program, but if I could, get just the border on an image, and tell it to change all the black to green, that's the way to do it.
Google Images borders, and we might be able to copy something.
Well, I have GIMP.
Yeah, Google Images borders.
the program, free open source program GIMP, GIMP.
Yep, GIMP's great, man.
It's more or less an open Photoshop replacement.
Yep.
But it ain't easy to use, and I haven't bothered to learn it yet. I have it on my.
Yeah, it's just like it's Photoshop. What's just strange about it is the little windows are kind of hanging out all by themselves, and people are used to programs that have all the windows connected together. But
the latest version of GIMP has a single window option.
Okay. And then there used to be GIMP Shop too, if you know about that, which was a guy that added on to GIMP and made it into more of a Photoshop. GIMP
yeah,
Shop.
they have all kinds of plugins for GIMP.
Yeah.
And I have a big 2-inch thick book of GIMP.
Yeah.
I haven't bothered to read it.
You know, in the long run, we're gonna get rid of this Microsoft crap. I'm a Microsoft engineer, but it's just crap.
Oh, you are.
Yeah, it's stupid. I don't like it.
Well,
I've always liked Linux.
He stole BASIC and then he stole MS-DOS.
No, and
he almost stole BASIC. He kind of screwed Ron Allen around.
Well, I was a Novell guy, so we were the red, they were the blue, and they screwed us. They just outright lied about our product, and we just wouldn't come back and tell the truth, and we just wouldn't answer at Novell, and so Novell went away. Novell's still here, but not like it was.
Well, Microsoft basically took CPM 86 and called it DOS and sold it to IBM and told Seattle Computer they were going to pay $55,000, but they never paid them.
Yep. You remember the Silicon Pirates? You've seen that movie, right?
No.
Oh yeah, Silicon Pirates is about how Bill Gates screwed everybody, how he came to power in San
Okay, I'll have to go look at that one.
Yeah, look at YouTube.
But I've been on the Bill Gates. I'm still using it because I don't want to get into everything, but I want to set up a Linux system. So, okay. Well, I think we've covered everything now, right?
Yeah, we're all good. Everyone's going to send it tomorrow, right?
And you're going to post something new in the next day or two, right?
Well, I'll post the email with the changes, but you've gotten the information if you took notes because it wasn't that much.
Right.
Where it's addressed to, putting your EL on the from, and how to address the envelope.
Yeah, I already sent my first ballot to these people, so I know they already know I'm crazy. So the second time's not so difficult.
Okay. Well, if you sent the first one, that probably should be enough.
Well, you never know. Yeah, I sent it just to the clerk, remember?
Well, the ballot, the previous case and writs went to the clerk, bankruptcy clerk before.
Well, the one I did is where we just sent it to the court.
Right.
That was just a week ago. So anyway.
So if you're not going to get any reaction from that, turn around and send it to the clerk this time.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. I sent it to the clerk this last time. That's what I did.
Okay.
It wasn't to the judge. So this.
Okay. Well, then you
don't say, "Oh, this crazy guy just sent it to us again."
Right. But you didn't have the phrase on the outside.
Yeah, it's a squeaky wheel, and I'm just playing chess, and they better figure it out. Some guy's out here knocking on the door real hard.
Well, you can send it in with a few changes and add those 3 lines on the envelope outside, and you may get more action.
Yeah. Put checkmate on it.
Yeah.
Outside.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, no, mine's the one that sent in where you said hell no. That's the one I sent.
Okay.
They'll like that, I guess. All right. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, very
Tom.
good.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Tom, are you going to repost this call?
Yeah, I have to. I'll get it up there.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Tom. Everybody.
Maybe tonight, and maybe tomorrow morning.
Okay, wonderful.
Tom, is Bill on the phone? Bill Smith?
No.
No. Okay. Do you have his email? I think I have it wrong.
I don't have his email. I don't have his email.
I have his number. All right, that's okay. I'll call him.
Well, Gita, I'm on the phone.
Hey,
you're there?
I tried emailing you, but I couldn't. It kicked back. It was exchange P, right? Like in Paul?
Yes, it's Woodruff Kevin.
Oh no,
99.
Kevin. I'm talking about Bill Smith.
Okay.
Do you
No.
have his number? His email?
I have his phone number, but I don't have his email.
All right, I have his phone number. I'll connect with him. I have a couple of questions about something different.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, but this is a good call, Tom. It kind of like went through line to line. This is just really good, informative.
Yes, and we should do this for everything. I've been suggesting this all along.
Yeah.
And no yelling. That's good.
Right.
until the teacher comes.
Well, if you wanted to,
yeah.
if you want to discuss that issue, let me go through something that I got today. Where is that? What's in the drafts? I'll have to find it and do it another time. I don't see it here. Oh, wait, I know where it might be.
Is it about your friend's energy stuff he's working on or something different?
No, it's something different.
Oh, okay.
Oh, here it is. Okay. Okay, I got this email personally today. Thanked me for the transcript. And it says, I think the reason for such a low following is Patrick's temperament. Most people really don't like being screamed at or listening to him racket at other people over the call. I can't find it because I didn't send the response. I was thinking of sending the response, but I can't find it. Yeah, but my response basically said, I understand what Patrick's up to here. He wants us to be right. He's devoting all his energy to this, and yes, he gets bent out of shape sometimes when we're show we're not listening, because most of the time on the calls we're always talking about extraneous stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're not really talking about the process. This is the first time we've talked about the process.
Yeah, he's going through a lot.
It's okay to talk about other stuff, but after the process.
Yeah.
Well,
but we're doing it instead of the process.
Yeah. Well, Patrick's like, when I went to the University of Iowa, right next door to where he is, you had a course, and you first went in and you listened to the professor. And that was a guy way down on the stage, and you couldn't hardly see him, and he spoke for 3 days. But then you went to the labs, like we got here, and that's where we all talk about what the genius is talking about, because he can't, he's got so many things going on, and I think that he's been thrown into teaching. I don't know that he really wants to teach, but he's called to do this.
Yeah, whatever. But
stopping people, and I don't blame him.
This whole thing's a stressful situation.
I get pissed off at people too, but that's just the way it is.
Well, Patrick's under great stress with this.
Yeah.
And he really wants it to be right. I think he really hoped that people close to him would help him research this more, but he has to end up doing everything himself, and that frustrates him. And he needs some appreciation, and we start talking about everything else that's not really showing him the appreciation.
Right.
No, I don't care. I don't care. He can scream at me all day long. I don't care.
Me too.
Some people can't handle it. Yeah, some people can't handle that.
It's a small price.
Handle the truth.
It's a small price to pay
to get out.
To understand what the stress he's under and deal with the issue, because he wants us to deal with the issue. So just deal with the issue.
Absolutely.
And we are learning. We're in a learning cycle.
Yeah.
I think he can get out, but he's staying in just to help others. Because once you get out, you can't help anyone else.
You can't? Whoa.
No, you can't talk to anyone.
Well, we may have to sign non-disclosures, but as a U.S. elector, I would like to question Patrick about that, because as a U.S. elector, we could probably vote that down.
Right. Right, because
as long
you're
as
the
it's
owner
two
of the
of us.
government. You're the owner.
Three of
I
us.
was just thinking today, too, that, with the EL, the elite, I mean, so once we're electors, I guess that makes us the elite.
Eternal life.
Makes us the elect. I like that word better than the elite.
Well,
yes.
It's still both L, what can you say?
Yes.
Yes, give him the credit he needs.
And, basically, thank you for taking for the heat so much of the time. Well, you're going to be in the kitchen, there's a lot of heat in the kitchen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we're cooking up our meal.
Good way of putting it.
Hey, the other thing Patrick has to deal with is, it sounds like his mom's pretty aged and she's out there, so he's got lots of stuff to deal with all the time that we don't even.
That's the other part of it. He's trying to teach
save his family
all about this, and they're fighting him like crazy.
Yeah,
and I think that's part of what riles them up.
I have the same issues. Yep.
Me too.
I lost my whole family, so I don't have to worry.
He's always saying your family is your worst enemy.
Yeah.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Who is my mother and who is my brother and who is my sister is what somebody
said. I think my daughter and 2 granddaughters will understand this. So once I can show them what's happening, until then, I'm not bothering them with it.
Right.
It's really funny. My daughter says, "Don't tell Dad because he won't understand yet."
But you want to tell, you keep opening your mouth and you keep getting kicked in it.
Exactly. I've got a few teeth missing.
And the best thing you could do for your kids is to teach them this stuff as young as you can.
Mhm.
Yeah, they'll be more receptive to it.
Yeah. Right. And they'll be on the lookout for it then.
Yeah, they won't be so full of the poison. Yep.
Right.
Maybe this is just something that in this game of life that we have, this virtual reality, that only certain people are ever going to figure out. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe all of us have been the same way. We've been searching for something our entire life, like the Matrix talks about. And finally, at this crazy moment in time, at least for me, I mean, I'm to the end of the end here. And
I hear you, brother.
Incredible, Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at homelessness here.
Very difficult.
Yeah. So, crazy. But
hopefully this goes through. Yeah.
Right at the end, So let's just keep a positive outlook and realize that we're not talking nonsense to these people. We're just saying, hey, look, man, you can keep the game and everything, but here's the rules, and we'd appreciate if you'd be honorable.
Yeah, we want to be honorable. Can you be honorable also?
Right.
It's interesting since studying all this stuff, when I do sit down to watch a movie to just like download and relax, you see so much of this stuff in the movies, and other people
they're giving
don't.
it away to us.
Yeah,
Patrick loves movies. He talks about all the movies he watches, like El Cid, and I mean, shit.
So they're telling us.
Even the news, you see what bullshit they're telling you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
plain sight.
Those Anderson guys walking, or the agents. I mean, they're that's what we got here. These people just have no idea, and Creative Guy has got a good handle on this too, as far as it's all about the name. They nail you with that name.
Yeah.
Kate says Kate wants to stay away from it, but I think that's fine to stay away from it, but society is just going to collapse. You can't just sit there and walk away from the name. It's a mess. And if you read the Constitution, I always carry it around with me.
You got to fix it.
I think it's reasonable. Those
ground it.
Contract the government has with itself, not with me, but it's with itself, and I expect them to obey that Constitution. I carry around a pocket Constitution all the time rather than a driver's license.
Good choice.
So let's go for this, man. Let's all figure this out and get ourselves free. And if we all have to sign non-disclosures, and let's meet in Panama City Christmas of next year, okay?
I'm there.
There we go. At the Jack in the Box.
That sounds great.
Jack in the Box, okay? Or Taco Bell.
But what we've learned from all this is that they do conceal, they do deceive. Most people in politics or personal relationships, if you offend them in any manner, they just divorce you and, almost do everything they can except kill you if you don't blend in with what all they're doing. People despise you for knowing or learning something that they didn't.
Yeah. Every politician has skeletons in their closet, or else they wouldn't be a politician.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or they're all actors, and we're just on the Truman Show. We have our own little Truman Show, and the whole world's universe is laughing while they watch us 24/7. While we're on the stage of life. Because you never know. I mean, anything's possible in this universe. We just have no idea what's really going on. I don't know if we ever will.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy shit.
Huh?
Everybody ever watch the Truman Show?
Yeah, long time
Jim
ago.
Carrey. Jim Carrey. Yeah. He was on TV all his entire life. He didn't know it.
He didn't know?
He didn't know it, no.
Yeah.
It's a movie, right?
It was a reality show. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, it wasn't a reality. It was Jim Carrey. He was playing a part. So.
Right. Well, he didn't know he was playing a part, though.
He didn't know. No, he didn't know. It was pretty funny. And then he just walked off stage at the end, which sort of said time doesn't exist. It's true. Time doesn't exist. It's hard to prove that.
Yes.
Hey, Tom, what's going on with your friend and that energy ball?
He's going to be one of the people I want to talk to at some point. We got to get him free to be able to do this.
Well, you better get him through before you sign your non-disclosure, huh?
Yep.
He just needs funds to help him finish the project.
Yeah. Right? If I have to do that, I'd rather get him free. But if I need to give him funds, I'll do that.
Hey, this weekend we kind of reviewed the Book of Luke some more, and that's definitely exactly what's going on. It's your inheritance. It's like the guy that sinned and walked with the dead and did all the other stuff, and then came home and recovered his inheritance, and they had a big party, and they killed a big fat calf, and everybody ate good afterwards, and everybody lived good afterwards. That's the real story, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying, that the story of Job, I think, is really appropriate, because remember, Job's all there by himself. Maybe some of us feel the same way, and all our friends that come up to help us, they have no clue at all, and they want to help us and tell us how wrong we are, this, that, and the other thing. And at the end, though, what happens with Job is, first he gets basically spanked by God, but not as bad as the rest of the people who have to restore Job of all his stuff. All these know-it-all friends that are around him his whole life. But it's a beautiful story at the end. I like the end of Job, but the middle part's not my favorite part.
So you think the Book of Job has a lot to do with this too?
Hell yeah! I think the Book of Job is older than the Bible, so at least some say. So the Book of Job is a beautiful story about trusting in. If you look at the King James, you go, the middle book is the 118th Psalm, and the longest book is 119th Psalm, the shortest book is 117th Psalm, and the exact center of the 1188 verses of the Bible is Psalm 118, verse 8, which says, "Trust in the Lord and not in a man." But that's all Freemason stuff, because you go, how the hell did they get all those verses and everything to add up like that? Because that's amazing stuff.
Yeah, there's another version of Job that I read by the science fiction author Robert Heinlein.
Yeah.
Its title is Job, A Comedy of Justice.
Yeah.
It's a very weird book.
Yeah. Well, Job had a very weird life, but man, he had a great wife. Huh? Wasn't his wife nice? One said, "Hey, Job, curse God and die."
One description here says the book is satirizing various notions of heaven, hell, deities, and the destiny of humanity.
Yeah. Well, and if Satan and God don't get along so well, how come Satan was hanging around in heaven and all of a sudden they're talking to each other? When he walks up and he says, "Hey, Satan, so what the hell are you doing out there?" And Satan says, "You consider Job?" That's the court case right there. So there we are. The prosecutor is the devil, and there you're standing, and there's God, and that's the court case is the Book of Job.
Okay.
Fun stuff.
Well, let's wrap it up. And, our succeeding calls can do this stuff, too. But I think the calls would be good if we go over specific projects during the call.
It was a very good call, I think.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, good night.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Okay, thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay. Hey, I'll call you tomorrow.
Whatever, Kevin. Take your time.